Hey everyone, on today's update, Edin and I are talking all about a new act that Bernie Sanders is putting forward that would potentially pay out up to $10,000 per month. We'll see if it passes, but realistically, it's going to be a tough one, but we do talk about what it entails. Check it out. Hey everyone, we are talking all about this new act that Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, and Markey are actually coming out with. I am Logan.
I am Edin.
All right, Edin. So this one is called the Monthly Economic Crisis Support Act. So walk us through this act and what it really entails, because this is, from my side of things, one of the more aggressive acts that they're trying to get out there.
This is a brand new act, and it's a variation on some of the other ones that we've seen, that we've talked about. And it's essentially a way to just push money into people's pockets. At the high level, what it is $2,000 per person. The way I've read it is for anybody who makes less than $120,000 a year. Doesn't give us clarity about married couples. Is that joint household income? Are we talking about adjusted gross income, taxable income? Too many unknowns at this point, but think about 120 grand. And what it would do is it would put $2,000 per person in your household, up to 5 people. So married couple plus 3 kids, $2,000 a piece, essentially paying you anywhere from $2,000 a month to $10,000 a month. And one of the big kickers with this one is that it would be retroactive back to March when all of this started.
So that is the biggest change about all this, is that they are putting it back. And instead of saying from this time on, they're actually going to try to go back and pay it out that way. So, I mean, knowing what we've talked about with the previous potential, because again, this is just potential, CARES Act 2, round 2 of stimulus. I mean, to you, how likely is this one? Because, you know, put politics aside, Bernie Sanders is generally regarded as very progressive, and it seems like you either love him or you don't. So when he puts his name on an act like this, it seems like there's already going to be a bit of a certain preconceived notion of what is going to come with it. So based on that, based on knowing what's going on, I mean, how likely do you think this one's actually going to get through?
These dollar amounts are huge when you think about it, in terms of paying everybody between 2 and 10 grand a month, going back to March. And it is until DC tells us that this is over, plus 3 months thereafter. So essentially, somebody could be getting anywhere, I mean, we're already a couple months into it, anywhere from about 20 grand. And if this thing keeps going, over 100 grand out of this, because it's 2 grand per child per month, up to those 3 kids. This is highly unlikely to pass. I mean, again, great in theory. They're putting out a lot of proposals, but there's just no way to go out there and write these sorts of checks on a monthly basis and just start handing them out. The other side's just not going to do it.
So, okay, so why do it then? Why put this out there? I mean, because the other one, you know, we had the Emergency Money for the People Act, which that was 2 grand a month moving forward, and I believe it was 500 per kid. So this one is, you know, and that one, you know, had a lot of resistance. This one is even more.
Why put it out? I think it's just more politics and posturing. Again, it's an election year. Yeah. I don't know how any of these are doing in their local elections. I think it's just one of those, they're such high-profile politicians that for them to come out, maybe there's some hope. But then also we talked about, again, posturing and the concept of negotiating. And if we start at opposite extremes, hopefully we can meet somewhere in the middle, and might be something like that where they're saying, you know what, like our previous proposals have been shut down. Maybe we just weren't aggressive enough. If we go the opposite end and we get enough support for them, then we might be able to negotiate back somewhere to a normal middle. Other than that, I don't know if they're just bored and they're just sitting at home, have nothing to do, and they're like, hey, let's every senator out here, let's put out a proposal, and that way we can all say we did a proposal even though it went nowhere.
Yeah, this one, I mean, the amount of debt, we talked about this before, the amount of debt that the U.S. is already in, this would just increase it tenfold by, a huge margin. And we were already talking about doing that with the $2,000 a month for everybody under 130,000 a year, which was everybody though, as long as you were over the age of 16. This one is, if it was household income at 120, then maybe it's a little bit more, in my mind, realistic as far as being passed. But if you put that as 120 per person, that's 240 for a household. That would be a tough thing to get through.
I think even at 120 per household, it's tough. I mean, I don't know the exact statistics, but I think at least 2/3 of the country, the household income is below that amount. So you're talking about 200 million Americans potentially, maybe more or slightly less, times $2,000 a month. That's just a ginormous number that I just don't see happening.
Because then on top of that, you think about the idea that they're trying to open up the economy. We have all these states that are doing these slow, soft openings, if you will. And then imagine you're getting unemployment with $600, $700, $800, $900 a month, plus another, a week, plus another $2,000 per month. I mean, that's a pretty sizable income in itself.
Yeah, it's and again, like for Bernie to come out with this, somewhat understandable. He's always been more, I mean, I don't want to call him a socialist, but I guess a socialist and those ideas. Now having some other prominent Democrats pushing for this, it just seems like we should be going to full universal basic income and just everybody gets a check every month forever and call it a day. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think everybody should get some support. Just some of these proposals just seem like they're way out there in terms of making sense.
Yeah. So this one, to me, it'll probably be just like the other ones where, they put it out there. And I think it's more of a statement piece, and then it's just going to slowly kind of get, swept under the rug, just like all the other ones that have been proposed at this point. So, yeah, we'll see. So
just gotta wait around and see what happens. And again,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, it almost seems like they're gonna keep doing this until realistically there's a cure for everything, and then then we're good. So, all right, everyone, that's it. That's what we got with the with this newer one. We'll see if it goes. Realistically, we don't think it is, but we'll find out.
The key for something like this is also we as citizens just have to also make it known that we support some of these things. Because if we just leave it to our politicians, then obviously there's no pressure on the other side to do anything with it. So I think in closing that whatever proposal any of us are in support of, we also have to make it be known, be vocal about it, so that these programs don't just disappear at the end of July. I know a lot of this stuff, especially the $600 a week, is supposed to expire at the end of July.
Right.
But here we are in May, and we don't really have a clear path forward.
Yeah. Nope. I'm with you. So I guess we'll see. So everyone, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow on another update.
Stay safe.
Hey guys. So Edin and I are talking about something a little bit on a spin of what they've already come out with as far as PPP money. And this one is called the Small Business Expense Protection Act. So Edin, walk us through what this act talks about.
Yes, I think this one is near and dear to every small business owner out there. When PPP came out, there was a lot of confusion about how is this going to be counted on the back end tax-wise. Is it going to be, canceled debt, which is essentially income, you got pay taxes on it? Is it going to be other income? Is it going to be some sort of adjustment on your tax return? What are we going to do with this?
Right.
And so the interim sort of whispers and guidance that we've gotten from the IRS is, yes, we're not going to give you a 1099 as canceled debt. However, you're not allowed to count the expenses that you use to get it forgiven as deductions on your return. Effectively, what this means is it's taxable income, right? So if I can't use the deduction, then I'm going to have more income at the end of the year. And so with this new act, this is actually from the AICPA, American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. They put together a list of questions and proposals to clarify a lot of these things within the regulations because a lot of it's very unclear. And what this act is specifically about is allowing the deduction piece to still happen.